beautiful. Juno, what do you guys think? Do I have inches? Let's get her going. Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? It's Ashley. Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is a full face of first impressions. Now, majority of these products, they are drugstore, which I know you guys love and appreciate on my channel. The other 2%, they may not be drugstore, but they still are very much affordable. So if you guys like these kind of videos, if you guys are curious to know what is hot and what's not, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also don't forget to press that little bell so that you guys are notified anytime I upload a new video, which is 2 times a week every single week. And without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and hop into it. Now, I was in Ulta and I came across Makeup Revolution. It wasn't like a new find. I knew it was there. I knew it was in Ulta. I just never really went over to the brand and picked items up. But I saw this palette and it reminded me so much of ABH Subculture that I really wanted to test it out and give it a go on my channel. So this is a palette I'm going to be using. This is in the shade Reloaded Iconic Division. Okay, I see what you're doing there. Makeup Revolution, very much comparable to Subculture. We're going to see if it's better than Subculture. Probably not, because ABH shadows are very like hard to dupe as far as formula, but colors, I think that this is a spot on replica of the palette. I'm not going to go in with the bone colored shadow. I'm not even going to set down the concealer. I'm just going to go straight into this shade right here, which is a little bit more of a beige, and I'm going to take that on this brush right here. This is a Sigma E25, and I'm going to pop it in my crease, and this is going to be my transition color. This shadow is super duper light and fair, so you can build it up to get a little bit more of like a deeper intensity going, but as you can see, like, you can't even really see it because it's almost like my skin tone, but it's just going to create a very nice shadow, which is going to help us with blending later. I just started watching season 4 of How to Get Away with Murder on Netflix, and I'm like on episode maybe like 4 or 5, and I'm shook, like super shook. I had to pause it so that way I could film this video, but I was so excited when Babito told me that it was on Netflix. I don't know about you guys, but I can't watch things on like regular TV. I just can't. I have to like binge watch it all on Netflix within like 2 or 3 days. I can't wait like weeks for the episodes to come out. Like, no, like, I can't. All right, so now that I have like that faint shadow going on in my crease, I'm now gonna move on to my next shade, and it is gonna be a little bit more of like a bronze smoky eye. I don't know, I've just been really feeding, and I've been really wanting to do a bronze smoky eye. Like, it's happening. I'm gonna pick up this shade right here on a Morphe M441 brush, and I'm going to rock it in the socket. I will say that the palette does have like a little bit of pickup, but nothing like drastic like Subculture. So I am going to just take this like so, and I'm going to press it on the very outer portion, and I'm going to rock it in the socket. My first impressions on this palette is that it's not patchy or anything like that. This color is beautiful. It kind of reminds me of like Chickadee by Makeup Geek. Okay, I'm really gonna take this shadow in big circular motions right here towards the outer V, just because I am going for more of like a circular eye shape. So this is kind of like what I'm working with. I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling this color. I'm getting very minimal fallout with the palette, which is really, really good. I do have like a little bit right here, but it's nothing drastic. Thoughts? What are your thoughts? The next shade I'm going to take from the palette is this brown right here, and it's a really neutral brown. It's not too warm, but it's also not too cool. So I'm going to pick that up with a Sigma E25. I'm going to kind of like tap off a little bit, and I'm going to work it directly underneath this like pukey yellow we just applied. I'm really just packing this color right here towards the outer portion, so like the outer V. And I do notice that it does take quite a few layers to get it to the intensity that I'm looking for, but it's all right. It's no big deal. You just want to pack and then buff it out so that way there's no harsh edges. Go in with the blending brush and really just buff out the edges every so often, just so that way it's nice and it's blown out. We really don't want any harsh edges really when it comes to like the browns or the transition color. We really want everything to kind of just like melt into each other. So it should look like really blown out like this. So I'm gonna make sure this side looks the same. Looking at this right now, I can definitely say it looks very gray grungy and smoky, but I'm feeling the vibe. I'm now going to go in with this shade right here. This is more of like a bronzy shade. Like, look how beautiful she is. Like, she is stunning. Yeah, my finger was just singing to you. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that on my MAC 242 brush, and I'm gonna spray it with a little bit of Fix Plus. Now you can use whatever it is that you want. I'm just gonna use Fix Plus because that's what I have in front of me. I like to apply these kind of shimmery shadows wet just because it does give me more of a foiled look. It's just something that I've done out of habit by now. Like, whenever I use something shimmery, I always make sure to spray it just because it does lay down and it does apply a lot better. So far I think things are looking really awesome. I do want to kind of like darken up the outer V. Unfortunately, the brown in this Makeup Revolution palette is just not dark enough. I can't even build it up to a darker intensity other than what I have going on, but I'm definitely in need of a color that's really going to set this look off. So I am going to switch palettes. I'm going to go in with a Bad Habit palette. This is the palette I have never used on my channel. This is the Artistry palette by Bad Habit. Like, can we just take a moment to appreciate the packaging? It is sick. It is amazing. It's out of this world. I'm going to take the shade right here. This one is called Tuscany, and I'm going to build her up to a deeper intensity on the very outer V. I'm telling you guys, these Bad Habit palettes are amazing. Like, for the price point and what you get, the quality, you get a mirror, you get like, I'm just going back in with that bronze shade from the Revolution palette to just reapply a little bit more of the bronze shade that we may have blended away when we were intensifying this outer V right here. Now, the next shade I'm going to go in with from the Artistry palette is this one right here. This one is called Dorsey, and I'm just going to take this directly next to the bronze shade. It's not quite the same shade, but it's going to add a very nice transition into the dark brown. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to pop it in the center. And this is also going to add like a nice highlight to the eye without it being like super stark. And I'm just going to pat my brush until this shade just melts into the brown. Ooh! I'm just taking a clean Sigma E25 and I'm taking it alongside the edges just so that way everything is nice and blended before I start cleaning things up for foundation. Guys, I'm like obsessed with this eye look, like this bronzy like look. Obsessed. I need to do this more often. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup underneath my eyes because, as you can see, things just got wild. They got like super cray. I'm now going to go in and prime my skin with a little bit of the Catrice Light Correcting Serum Primer. It says shake well before use, so I'm going to give her a little bit of a shake, and it does come in a dropper like this, so I'm just going to do a few drops on my face. I'm crying tears of primer. Okay, anyways. I'm just gonna go ahead and work it into my skin. You feel me? Okay, no. Feels like lotion. Actually, no, it feels like water. It really doesn't feel like anything. Wow. It doesn't really have a scent to it either. Apparently, it's just supposed to be a glowing serum primer. I do kind of feel like I need something like else on top of this. I can definitely see how it says glowing. My skin definitely looks a lot more like radiant and bright and like healthy. It does dry down and it's a little bit tacky, which is good because I feel like my foundation is really going to stick and adhere to it. However, I do need a little bit more hydration. So I'm going to use a little bit of this. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Face Primer. I did use this in my $6 and under video and I really liked it. So I'm going to use her again. And I'm going to go ahead and just work this into the skin. Not only am I going to be dewy and radiant, but I'm going to be nice and hydrated at the same time. Juno. So for foundation, I'm going to use a foundation that I recently reviewed on my channel. So the foundation is probably going to be the only thing that isn't like a first impressions. The foundation I'm going to use is this one. This is by LA Girl. This is the LA Girl Pro Matte Foundation. It's an $8 foundation. It has amazing coverage. So I'm going to give her a little bit of a shake, give her a pump on the back of my hand a few times, so about that much. And you guys know I like to use a flat foundation brush to apply the foundation to my skin. So I'm going to take this MAC 190 brush and I'm going to apply it to one side of my face and buff it out with a beauty blender. Like immediately you can see just how good the coverage is on this foundation. Like, oh, I can't even believe that it's like $8. Like, look at that. Beautiful. For a second, let's talk about the coverage. Like, you can't see any of my blemishes, nothing.
Yeah, I can.
Where?
Oh, you only applied it to one side. Okay. I'll just say that side I can see your
Wow. I'm now going to move on to concealer. This is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. It says it's a full coverage conceal and contouring product. And I did pick up the shade C6. So you guys know the drill. I'm going to use this directly underneath my eyes. Ooh. Ooh. This definitely is giving me like Shape Tape vibes. Like, do you guys see the applicator on this? Shape Tape vibes. And this is like $8. It does feel like a little bit thinner than Shape Tape, if I'm keeping it real. So it's not like as thick. We'll see if the coverage is the same. I'm gonna use the opposite end of my blender, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pat, pat, pat. Pat that concealer. Ooh. You guys, this concealer is blending out really, really good. Like, do you guys see my under eyes right now? Ooh, girl. The concealer is blending out really, really good. Like, really, really good. This is like actually inspiring me to do a cheap versus drugstore video, high-end versus drugstore video. I haven't filmed one of those videos in a really long time, so let me know if you guys would want me to do one, like with current products. Whatever is left on my sponge, I'm just gonna go ahead and pounce it in the very center of my forehead to give me a little bit more of a highlighted look. I'm now gonna go in with a little bit of the Kokie translucent setting powder to set down the concealer. And this is a very fine powder. It's gonna work amazing underneath the eyes to set everything down and in place. Ooh, honestly, that just like melted into the skin. I did pick up a new powder to test out in the video, and the one I'm going to use is the LA Girl Pro Face. This is the high definition mattifying powder. I picked mine up in the shade Nude Beige. So I'm going to take this on a fluffy brush. I'm just going to use this one. This is my Morphe M527. Technically, it's meant for contouring, but since it's clean, I'm just going to use it for like overall dusting of powder. And I'm also going to take this directly underneath my eyes just so that way I don't have too much of like a white cast. I do want to note that the powder comes with a mirror, and then it comes with a little sponge, so you could easily just pop this in your purse and, you know, touch up if you want to just take it on the go. So I always like to keep those sponges in there just in case I need to take my powder with me. But now that my face is nice and set, I'm gonna move on to bronzer slash contour. I have this new palette. Well, it's probably not new, but this is the Face Form palette by Sleek. It has a contour, highlight, and a blush. This is in the shade medium. I do feel like it's gonna be like a little too dark, like that bronzer right there, but we're gonna make do with it. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the bronzer on that Morphe brush. This is a Morphe M527, and I'm gonna do a little bit of bronzing. Like, I'm nervous, so like I'm just like barely touching my face just because, I don't know, I feel like this isn't gonna be like my favorite product of all time. I'm not like a huge fan of the color. I'm gonna take whatever is left on the brush and I'm just gonna dust it on my hairline without creating a contouring helmet. I am feeling like I need my bronzer or my contour to be a little bit more cleaned up. So I'm going to take some of that Kokie powder and I'm going to take my beauty blender and I'm just going to go ahead and clean up directly underneath my contour. So if you feel like it's getting like muddy or messy, you can always go in with a powder like this. What is happening? Also, you guys, I'm really, really glad that you guys are loving my last video, which was a drugstore toot. Okay. I haven't filmed a drugstore video in a while, so I really wanted to bring it back. And it just like melted my heart when you guys were like, this is why I watch your videos, because you're able to feature drugstore products on your channel without making them seem bad. And that just made me happy. I was like, yes, girl, you know I got you. Drugstore videos all day. So I'm just going to let this powder bake here for a second, and I'm going to work on my very lower lash line. I really want to bring this bronzy color all up under my lower lash line because I want it to look very nice and smoky. So I am going to go in with the Artistry palette from Bad Habit, and I'm going to pick up the shade called Tuscany. I'm going to take that on a flat definer brush by Sigma, and I'm really going to push this color closest to my lash line. Like I said, I really want everything to connect, and the shadow is extremely pigmented, so you really don't even need a lot. I want to say that this palette was a dupe for the Mario palette that was created in collaboration with Anastasia. That palette was limited edition. I want to say it's like discontinued at this point. I don't own it, so I can't do a comparison video on these two. But if you guys want me to do like a full look using this palette, ooh, to wholly pigment, I'll do it. I'll do it for you. I'm just taking this e.l.f. brush that's very comparable to a Sigma E25, and I'm just dragging it alongside the edges because I really want to drag this color down. I really want it to be very smoky because I am going for more of like a bronze smoky eye. I'm telling you, putting that shadow on the lower lash line really just like connects everything. It makes it look like it's one. Here for it. Here for it. I'm gonna do a little bit of tight lining with this. This is the L'Oreal Infallible, a long wearing eye pencil in the shade Black. It says it's long wearing, so apparently it's supposed to last very long in the waterline. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to just pop it right up in here. And this is just going to create the illusion of thicker, fuller lashes. I have another pencil by L'Oreal, except this one is in the shade brown, clearly. So this is what the brown looks like. I'm going to take this and I'm actually going to run it on my lower lash line just because this is more of a smoky eye. So I'm going to kind of like close off the eye and I'm going to pop this brown in there. Once I have that color in my waterline, I'm just going to go right back into my flat definer brush and I'm just gonna go ahead and buff out that eyeliner just so that way it's not like chunky or anything on my lower lash line. And as you can see, it just really like deepens up the lower lash line. It really just like darkens it and makes it look like very vampy. I'm dusting off the powder because at this point I'm looking mighty crazy and I need to bring myself back to life. Confessions, I will say that I'm not a huge fan of this. I don't think that this is my correct color. I don't think the formula is bad, but I don't like the bronzing powder by Sleek, and that's just my opinion. I'm now going to move on. I'm going to move on to mascara. I'm going to use this mascara by Kokie. This is the Volume and Length mascara. They say it's really, really good. They say it's one of their best sellers, so I'm going to give her a whirl and I'm going to coat my lashes. I feel like I don't even have lashes, so I'm not even like the best person to judge a mascara. What do you guys think? Do I have inches? Inches! The lashes I'm going to pop on today are just by Lily Lashes in the style Mykonos. And these are like my favorite lashes. They're like beautiful. So I'm back. I popped my lashes on. I'm looking like a little bit grunge, but you know, I'm kind of feeling it. I'm going to go in with the Artistry palette from Bad Habit, and I'm going to pick up this shade right here. This one is called Daphne on a pencil brush, and I am going to spray my brush with a little bit of Fix Plus, and I'm going to pop it right here in the very inner corner. This is going to draw forth a light and really just make that inner corner pop. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Guys, we need a name. I feel like all channels have names for their followers or their viewers, and we don't have a name. Like, we need a name. So if you guys have any recommendations, let me know in the comments. Something, anything. So I think the eyes are looking really good. I'm now going to move on to highlighter. I'm going to use this palette by Makeup Revolution. This is the Soph palette or something like that. I don't even know. I know someone's going to correct me in the comments, but this is what she looks like. She is stunning. She is beautiful. She is gorgeous. I am going to take a mixture between, let's say this shade right here in the corner and maybe this one. And I'm going to pop it on the very highest points of my cheekbones. I'm going to use this brush right here. This is by ABH. This is the A23 brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and highlight with it. Ooh, what? It looks really good. Like, I'm also taking a little bit of highlighter and I'm putting it on the very tip of my nose. This brush just so happens to be from Shop Miss A. I have a full video dedicated to using $1 makeup brushes. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. And whatever's left on the brush, I'm just gonna go ahead and pop it on my Cupid's bow, my chin, and a little bit on my forehead to give me a little bit more of like a dewy look. And if you feel like the highlight is like a little bit too much, you could definitely tone it down with a damp sponge. This is by Real Techniques. This is really going to melt that highlighter into the skin just so that way it doesn't look like it's sitting on top. Sometimes I find that highlighters will sit on top of the skin and it'll make it look really, really unnatural. So if you want like that glowing from within look, I definitely recommend going over top of your highlighter with like a damp sponge because it's gonna look bomb. The blush I'm gonna use today is by Catrice. This is the Strobing blush in the shade Miss Amber Brown, and I'm gonna pop this onto the apples of my cheeks and I'm gonna blend it back into my bronzer. I really, really, really like this blush. These colors are just like so me. So lastly, I am gonna finish off with lips. I'm gonna use this by NYX. This is the Strictly Vinyl Lip Gloss. You guys know I'm a sucker for gloss. This one is in the shade 03. I hauled this in an Ulta haul a long time ago and it's just been sitting. I haven't used it and I figured today would be the day. All right, so this is the lip color. It's on IT. I will say it's like a little bit on the sticky side. This definitely is more of like a brown nude. It's more of like an enriched gloss, so it kind of feels like somebody took a lipstick, like crushed it up and put it in a lip gloss form. So it is a very thick gloss. It's not like a glossy gloss, but I like it. I'm gonna finish things off with a little bit of setting spray. This is by CoverGirl. This is the Lock It Up setting spray, and I'm just gonna give my face a little bit of a spray once I get it open because I'm looking like a little bit dusty, like a little bit chalky because I put so much powder on. So in order to like melt the powder down and make it look a little bit more like skin, you always wanna set it down with a setting spray. So I'm gonna use this one by CoverGirl. Let's get her going. I always like to spray a lot just so that way all the powders melt down, okay? All right, you guys, so this is my completed face. This is my completed look. I will say for the most part, I really do like how everything came out. If I had to pick favorites, products that I felt like really stood out to me in this video, number one would have to be the Bad Habit Artistry palette right here. This is fire. Like, let me just say, the few shades I did use in this palette, they're extremely creamy, pigmented, buildable, blendable. I'm gonna do a few finger swatches just so that way you guys can get a feel for the pigmentation of the palette. Like, it is insanely beautiful. If you guys want me to do like a full eyeshadow tutorial just using this palette, let me know in the comments down below. But I do think that this is a really good buy. You can only get this exclusively on shophush.com, just so that way you guys aren't confused. You can't get it in the drugstore, but it is very much affordable. I will definitely have it linked for you guys down below. Some misses for me would definitely have to be the Sleek makeup palette. So this right here, it just wasn't my favorite. I don't know if it's because it was the wrong color or what. I felt like it kind of gave me a bronzer helmet. I felt like I had to use it very sparingly just so that way I didn't get like muddy or anything like that. I feel like there's other bronzer highlight blush palettes out there on the market that are a lot better than this one, like the Maybelline one. I also really like the Makeup Revolution concealer. This one is in the shade C6. It is very much comparable to Tarte Shape Tape, but it is a little bit thinner in consistency. I really love the applicator on this. Ooh, this right here, CoverGirl setting spray. You need it. It smells really good too. But for the most part, those are all of the items I would recommend in this video. If you guys are interested in any of the other products I showed, I will have everything linked down below per usual. Don't forget to subscribe if you guys haven't already, and don't forget to turn on your post notifications so that way you guys are updated anytime I upload a new video. And with that, guys, I don't think I have anything else to say except I love you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll be sure to catch you guys all in the next one. Deuces.